Hello viewers, welcome back to our YouTube channel. We want now to proceed with our series of quantitative techniques, CPA level 1 paper. So we want to look at a compound bar chart. In the previous video we looked at the simple bar chart. We looked at what you call the back-to-back bar charts, and we promised that we are going to look at the bar chart in the preceding video. So we want today to also handle the compound bar chart, and as a matter of fact we want to see how can we transverse from a compound bar chart to a comparative bar chart, and what could be the criteria or what will be the underlying reasons as why you will be forced to, instead of doing a bar chart, a compound bar chart, you do a comparative bar chart. So we are going to look at all that. So let's proceed. We are looking at compound bar chart. A compound bar chart, of course, it is useful when you want to compare two or more quantities on one chart. This is useful if you want to compare two or more charts, two or more quantities on a chart. Because we looked at the simple bar chart and we only looked at one kind of information. We looked at the profit of the bank for the last 6 years, and that was one item of the quantitative aspects. In terms of the values, we are only looking at one item. Now, if we have more than one, we have 2, 3, 4, or 5 quantities or values that we want to represent on a chart, then from there we use a compound bar chart or a comparative bar chart. So we are going to see the real difference between the compound bar chart and a comparative bar chart. Of course, most of the times, as per the syllabus, they are only talking about, the syllabus talks about the compound bar chart, but you will see, because the comparative bar chart is another way you can present, but of course we shall see the criteria as to why some data may not be applicable for you to use the comparative bar chart, the compound bar chart, and you have to go with the comparative bar chart. So let's now look at the steps. But before we look at the steps, you also have to know that when you are comparing different quantities, maybe for different years or maybe for different companies, it may be useful for you to shade, to do what we call shading. You shade the bars, so that you can be able to differentiate them, because we are going to be having data that is from different areas. So meaning for you here, you need to have the key, of course, because you are going to be shading this, but it's a must for you to have a key here. It's not an alternative as we saw in the line in the simple bar chart, because from there you can either have it, or we've seen how you can fail to have it and it really remains authentic. But either way, it's always good to present the key to show the different items that you have plotted on your graph. So let's now look at the steps. What are the steps of drawing a compound bar chart? Steps for drawing a compound bar chart. The first step is to identify the data. Identify the data you wish to present. Identify the data you wish to present. On a compound bar chart. Identify the data that you need to present, that you wish to present on a compound bar chart. Identify the data that you wish to present on a compound bar chart. Of course, the hypothetical question that we can look at, all the hypothetical data that we may collect, we can collect maybe information. Let's assume we have collected it's hypothetically, we have collected information maybe about the crime rates in cities. Let's say we have city A, city B, and then city K. And this information, maybe we have gathered information for 2009, 2010, and maybe 2011 respectively. So if we are having different cities and we have gathered information about those different cities for the different years, maybe 3 years, so the ideal graph that will be able to present that information will be this kind of graph or chart. So you have to identify, you look at the information and see, based on the information you have, what will be the appropriate graph to represent the data. Because most of the times, like if the examiner is to set some of these charts, he can give you the data, then he says apply or use an appropriate graph to represent the data that is given below or above. So it will be upon you to know that based on the data that I'm being given, I'm going to apply such and such graph or such and such line graph or chart. So we are basically looking at information in regards to crime rates. We are going to be basing on the crime rates for the cities, and they have given us cities A, B, and K. Of course, this is a hypothetical question, meaning it doesn't have a source. We just create, hypothetically we create, or someone may say, where did you get the information for the crime rates? Of course, you can get it, but this is a hypothetical question. The other aspect they have given us are the number of years that we are dealing with. 2009, we are dealing with 2010, and finally 2011 respectively, 2011. meaning they have given us information in regards to crime rates. Those are going to be numbers for the different cities, city A, city B, city C. So the next step that we need to, after identifying the information that it may be suitable for us to be able to draw a compound bar chart, is for us to present. We present your data, in a table. Present your data in a table for easy reference. Sometimes they always give you this information. Most of the times they always give you this information when it is in the table format. That's why our first topic was all about presentation of data in a tabular form. The bottom line was that we are going to need that information, or we are going to find that information laid out in the table. So that was the reason as why we looked at that in the first place. So in the example that we have just created, on the hypothetical question that we are trying to formulate, we have looked at the crime rates, and of course you will see that we shall have this information laid down in what we call columns. We are going to assign, if they have not given to you these, then you create them yourself. So we are going to assign a column to each of the cities, and then we assign a horizontal row for each of the 3 years. The whole information is about crime rates, but the information is portrayed in years, and then the crime rates in the cities. So the variables are going to be the cities, or the crime rates in the cities, the crime rates in the different cities. So we are plotting crime rates against the cities. And then the years are going to be, we can put the years in the key, that because the whole bottom line, if they talk about, that's why I was telling you, identify what is the variable, what variable is in the question. The variable in the question is about crime rates, but these crime rates are appearing in certain cities. So what we are going to do, we create crime rates on the vertical column, because those are going to be numbers. Then we put these cities on the horizontal axis. Then we make each bar to represent a full year for each of the variables. We are going to understand and we are going to internalize it. So we said we present the data in what we call the tabular form for easy reference. And we have said we are going to assign each column to each of the cities. Columns, these are the ones that are moving downwards. Then the rows are the ones that are going to move in a horizontal manner. So we are going to have things that are moving horizontally in years. So of course, once we are done with drawing that table, then we are going to insert the relevant data in each of the the corresponding cells that we have formed. Because you know, where a column meets a row, it forms a cell. That is Microsoft Excel. So let's maybe gather just some hypothetical figures. We create a table, and then we said the table is going to have cities. We are going to have cities. Of course, this can be city A, city B, and then city K. Those are the the items, and they are going to be in these columns as you are seeing them. So then downwards we are going to have different years. So these are cities, of course. Then we have the years, but since the years are going to be moving downwards, we don't want to put them horizontally. It's better we can remove the word years, then we just indicate the values themselves, or the number of years themselves. We have 209, 2010, 2011. Meaning if you want to have the total, you can put the total this side. But totals are not, they are not necessary. I will tell you where the totals are necessary. Here totals are not necessary. So in 2019 to 2009, the in city A we recorded maybe 70 cases, crime cases. City B 55. City C we recorded maybe 85. Then you can record going the other side. You add 70 plus 55 plus 85, you put the total the other side. So this one we had 60, 75, and 80. And lastly, we had a 65, we had a 70, and a 73. So those were the values that we have there. Maybe the examiner can add for you, can put for you the total just to confuse you. But I've told you we don't need the totals. But you will find the examiner has put for you the totals just to confuse you, because you'll be wondering, what should I plot? It is also possible to find the information drawn like that, and the examiner tells you, I want you to draw a simple bar chart. So if the examiner tells you that I need a simple bar chart, actually that's when you will be in a position to get these totals, because you will be plotting the totals for each of the years, and that's it. If you want city against the cities, of course you come and get the totals for city. Let me also put it there, totals, because if they set it, they always put some disturbing aspects so that you get confused. Let's also put those disturbing aspects. You find that the grand total is 3633. This is 238. Of course, this side is 200, and this side for the city A it is 195. So that's how the examiner can trick you. So depending on the question, if they tell you they want to show maybe the cases, the crime rates against the years or against the cities, you plot according to how the examiner has asked the question. So if they bring a question like that, and they tell you they want a compound, then the totals are useless, or they are not useful at the moment. So once you have received an information that is organized in that perspective, the third alternative, because here we are giving steps and at the same time we are going to draw that same example. what I needed for you to get is that you arrange the information in that order using a table. The third step is to draw your graph. Draw your graphs horizontal and vertical axes. If it is one, it is called an axis. Of course, along the vertical axis, we write there, you write the scaled values. Those are the crime rates. For example, now, remember we write based on the scale that we have formed. The scaling is the same. We looked at how we get the scale. So, for example, if let's say the data, because now you see that the data that we have is, if let's maybe assume that the data was maybe below 10, the numbers were from 1 up to 10, they were below. We can use a scale of maybe 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit, because the values, of course, they are small. We can't take it to be in decimals, yet we are dealing with the small values. But the moment you find that maybe the numbers that I'm dealing with, they are in thousands, then it is better to take a scale of, let's say, 1 centimeter to represent 100 units, because you are not going to get 1,000 centimeters if you just use 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit. Because if you take this, it means this data, you will only need 10 centimeters to represent this information. So that's for the vertical axis or axis. For the vertical axis, you get the scale, you put the scaled values depending on on the scale that you selected. And of course, along the horizontal axis, we make the data. You can make your own data parameters. You make your 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 data parameters with a main heading. With the main heading, and then several subheadings. I'm going to explain what this means. Now, the main subheading, let's get an analysis based on the question that we have. That's why I brought in the question for you to get an easy interpretation of what the theoretical aspects are talking about. Now, for example, if we look at the information that we have crime rates in different cities for over different years. Now, in our step 1, the names of the cities would be our main, based on the names of cities, that is cities A, B, and K would be our main heading, because they are the ones on top of our table. That's what we are representing. We are representing crime rates. These figures are all about crime rates in those different cities. That's why we are making it the main heading. Now, the years, of course, would be our subheadings. What is that implies if we look at the kind of data that we have in the question? It means that on horizontal axis we are going to put the cities. So this is how the information will look like. We will have, let me assume we have done that. Remember, we have to skip a line. You draw like this, that is 1. Maybe the second one is, of course, they are going to be intact. That is 2, maybe, and we draw the third one is maybe there. Now, from here to here, we are going to have that is city A. We do it for the third one, we skip the same. Then from here to here, it's going to be city B. Then moving this side, we are going to have the same stuff. And from here to here, that is city K. So the horizontal is this one is going to be having the figures representing the crime rates. Of course, here we have the cities. But now what we are going to put on these keys, we are going to shade it different. If I shade like this for that one, then the other one I shade like this, then that would be, even one I can leave it empty. So I shade this to be maybe like this. Then I shade one that has just shadings of that one. So this one will be, of course, this will be a year, maybe let's say this is year 2009, this is 2010, this is 2011. Meaning, on the horizontal axis, we have two things. We have the main headings and then the subheadings. That is the implication. That this will be 2009, this is 2010, and this is 2011. Then we do the same thing here. We keep the same head, the same, like that. So that's like the kind of graph that we are going to be having. And that's how it's going to look like. So once you are done with that, we have highlighted that in here we have the main heading. Of course, the main heading, that is what is in the question for these cities. But at the same time, you have the subheadings which are representing the years. So the last one, of course, the last part is just to draw the graph, because we have done with the analysis. Now the last part is just to draw. You add your data, to the graph. It means we are going to be drawing the, so continuing with our example, of course, if A is 2009, of course, you find that for city A, the 2009 is our first piece of data that we have to put on the graph. So what we do, we plot this information from the table onto our chart by drawing a solid bar. So the other key thing that you need to put in mind is that the bar's width will be the width of the subheadings. We say the subheading, those are the years. And its weight will be the corresponding values of the data, and the data was all about crime rates. So the corresponding height will always be the corresponding values of the crime rates. So you repeat this same procedure for each of the subheadings for column A or for city A, and then you move to city B, and finally for city K, until all the data is plotted on the chart. So without taking much of the time, let's try to elaborate that graphically. One thing that I told you is the fact that we need a heading on the chart. So this, we can call it a compound bar chart representing or showing crime rates in different cities over different periods of time, over different years, because they gave us years. Otherwise, if you say periods, a period can be a month, so you be specific. Different years. If these figures were in thousands, you can also put the thousands here. But given the fact that our information was not in thousands, we can just take that off. But just know it's key to always include the unit of measurement of the data that you are dealing with. So let's draw the chart. Of course, the scale, we can use maybe 1 centimeter to represent 20, because I've seen that we don't have any value that is above 100. So on the vertical scale, can use 1 centimeter to represent 20. But don't forget the fact that we are always leaving a space on our left hand side and then on our right hand side for us to be able to name the axes, whether they are going to be depending on the information that you have been given to you. So we said we are going to use, but don't forget we said we start from 0 when you are putting the scale. So that is 0. Maybe we said we are going to use 1 centimeter or 2 centimeter to represent, because if you are using the other big graph, you should use maybe 2 centimeter to represent 20. So I can say this is 20. Maybe this is 40. This is 60. This is 80. Then finally, we have the 100. Now, when it comes to the horizontal axis, remember we are plotting 3 years for each of the cities. So what you are going to do, you are going to say 4 centimeters, because remember there is one that we skip. So you can say 4 centimeters to represent a city, because the moment you say 3 centimeters to represent a city, it means you are excluding the space, and the space we are leaving is supposed to be uniform. So we can say 4 centimeter to represent cities. So I can say that maybe this is my first, this is my the first centimeter, this is the second centimeter, maybe this is the third, and this is the fourth centimeter. Then I say that this is going to be a representative of city A. Then I come to this, I also count that this is maybe 1, this is maybe 2, this is maybe 3, then those are 4 centimeters. Then I call it, this is city B. Then I also do the same for the city K. And I say this is city K. Of course, these are cities. Then you also name this side as crime rates, the vertical axis. So now we start drawing. We draw each of the bars basing on the information that we have. For 2009, we have, for city A, we have 70. This is 60. Of course, you know how to interpret a graph. I explained that. You just come here and say maybe 70 is around there. Then that's your first bar. Then you go to city A, but in the year 2010, we will have a 60. These, they are supposed to be between the years. The data is supposed to be connected to each other. Reason is because we are representing information of a single city. So for the last 2011, we have a 65. So maybe the 65 is around there. Now, once you have finished one city, you go and shade. I can leave one not shaded. Maybe let me shade this like this with a blue. Then I'm going to leave maybe the middle one unshaded. Then I use a black to, or let me use a green. So if you don't have, remember, you don't use colors in an examination. You do now this one is a net. You shaded it like a wire mesh. Then this one, they are just crosses. Then in the middle, you have not shaded. So that's how you now come here. Immediately after you are done with the one of the cities, you come and create a key. Because you will not have time to wait until you are done. You create a key. You put the key and you say a key. Then you put that information. Here I'm going to use the different colors. You also name them according to how you shaded them in that order. So I have one that is unshaded, then the last one. Then you shade. This one was shaded with a blue. And I call this 209. Then this one that is not shaded, it is 2010. Then 2011 was shaded with green, like a mesh like that. So this is representing 2011. Because even if time gets you and you have done something like this, honestly speaking, there is no way the examiner will actually fail to give you, even if you have not completed everything and time has gotten you and you had stopped there, they told you stand up, and you had not drawn these other ones, you'll still get some good marks. Other than when they say stand up when you have not provided the key, we don't even know what you plotted. This one gives the examiner that that's what I was going to plot. So it is always important to do the needful, because here you are struggling for marks. Now we go to the other one for part B. Of course, this is 55. Can assume you skip a line. You see, I've skipped a line here, but the line I've skipped, it is the same like the other lines that I've been skipping. Then for 2010, it is 75. Let's assume the 75 is around here. Then we do the same for the last year, 2010, that is, it is a 70. You can assume the 70 is around there. Then you do the shading. Skip the middle one, then we shade the last one. We do the last one. The first one is 85, because let's assume that our 85 is around there. We try to be as neat as possible. The second one is 80. Then the third one is 73. So assume the 73 is around there. And you are done. What will be left is for you to shade off this. And then you shade the last one. And we are done with that as well. So that will be the end of that. So we have seen how to draw, the compound bar chart, and now I want us to get ourselves to something that is, of course, let's get maybe another example where we have the information. I might not draw it, but I'm going to explain what is going to happen. So that is the information. Let's get to example 2. Example 2. Of course, they are saying that the following date table shows the number of insurance policies, shows the number of insurance policies by class of business. By class of business, in bracket we have numbers expressed in thousands. The numbers are in thousands, so just put the bracket, comma, issued by an insurance company during the years 2009 to 2013. to 2013. This is 2013. So let's look at the data. The data that they gave us was analyzed in a very nice table. There's something I want to explain from this. We have the policy type. Of course, in insurance business, they call their product policies. We have the life, of course, life insurance. We have motor. We have household. We have the household, and finally, we have others. So under the policy type, they gave us, up here we have number of years. Up here we have number of years. So they gave us 2009. Remember, they told us 2009 and up to 2023. 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, then 2013. That's the information that we have with us. So we are going to present this information. We have these different years. So let's put the information. You can maybe go year by year. So this one we have 24. We have 24. This is 42. This is 10. This is 7. The 2010, we have 27 here. We have 37. We have 14. Then we have 5. 2011, we have 32. We have 31. We have 21 and 8. Here we have 31. We have 29. We have 28. We have 7. Then lastly, we have a 33. We have a 26. We have a 35 and a 4. So that's how the data looks like. That's how the data looks like. Now the required. Let's look at the required. The required says required. They are saying required. Part A, they are saying carefully draw a suitable chart. A suitable chart to illustrate the data. Then part B, they are saying what are the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages and disadvantages of your form of representation. So whichever you have chosen up here, what is the advantages of that chart that we have selected? But our main focus is on, of course, part A for the illustration of the suitable. So expect these kind of questions where they are telling you, you pick a suitable chart. So picking a suitable chart calls for a thorough analysis of the information that has been given to you. Now, if you look at this information, and you look at the graph paper, of course, the graph paper is always fixed. So what is going to be your vertical, what is going to be on your vertical, and what is going to be on your horizontal? If you look at this information, the main heading that we have here, we have a main heading that relates to number of years, and they have given us the years. But in the question, the examiner told you that the following data, let's look at the question. They said the following data shows the number of insurance packages by class of business issued by the insurance companies during the years. So the variables are actually years and then the insurance policies. So what are we going to do? We are going to make sure that our horizontal line has one of the variables. It has the years, because we are going to be drawing a vertical bar chart. If they have not specified that you draw a horizontal bar chart, you always take it that it's a vertical bar chart, because that's what we basically draw. Then on the vertical axis, we are going to have the policies in thousands, because they told us they were in the numbers were expressed in thousands. Now, what we are going to make as our key are the different types of insurance policies. If you fail to identify this kind of information, you are off. Even if the topic because the graph is very easy to draw, but if you fail to identify this information, you are off. Now, they have given us the policies, they have given us the types. We are seeing that we have 4 types. We have the life, we have the motor, these are motor vehicle insurance policies, then the household, plus others. Now, the question is, what if they had given us 5? Let's say they have also put health policy. The question is, on our horizontal axis, are these variables able to fit there? Because each of these we need, if they have given us 5, we would need 5 bars. But since they gave us only 4, we need 4 bars, and each bar is representing a year. 4 bars for for 2009, 4 bars for 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013. Then the other question you should ask yourself, what if, because here they have given us how many years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are 5. The question is, what if they had given us 6 years? If they had given us 6 years, where we are supposed to draw 4 bars, it means we shall need the bars that we shall need, of course, the scale will be that if they have given us 4 bars, it means that we need 5 centimeters to represent 1 year. 5 centimeters, because remember there is 1 for skipping. But now the question is, here they have given us, just assume they have given us 5. What will happen? Let me put it down here. What is going to happen is that they want us to draw, if they had given us 5 insurance policies, it means we shall have 5 bars. But if we need 5 bars, we always add 1 for the spacing. So it means we shall need 6 bars. How many years did they give us? They gave us 5 years in the question. But what if they had given us 6 years? 6 years means that we shall have, each year will have 6 bars. So it will be 6 times 6. That will give you 36. This would be 36 bars. The question is, if I look at my graph paper on the horizontal axis, am I able to have 36 bars? And I leave also a part, because remember on the vertical here we always leave some 2 centimeters for labeling, and then 2 centimeters this side for labeling. So it would mean that if I need 2 centimeters this side, I will add, if they were 38, then if they were 36, there would be 36 bars. Meaning we need 38 centimeters. The question is, on the horizontal axis, do you have 38 centimeters? So that's the question you should ask yourself if you check on the graph book. Of course, if I'm to look at my graph book and I pick out the centimeters that are available, 38. Let me check. I've seen that they are actually I've seen that they are 18. They are 18 centimeters. They are 18 centimeters. Those squares that we have, they are 18. So if they are 18, remember we need, if they were 5, we need 5 bars. 5 bars would be 5 centimeters. So 5 centimeters, if there were 5, then it means we need 6. Those are 6 centimeters. That would be 1 year. But the years are 6. So the question you are going to ask yourself, sometimes what I wanted to prove was that you may find some of these bars, they will not fit. They will not fit on the what? on the graph paper, what will you do? That calls for what we call the comparative. The comparative bar chart. Because for a comparative bar chart, you always do some computations to make sure that these figures fit. You do what you call cumulative computations. And these we always present them upwards. They are on top of each other, like this. I can draw a graph like this. I represent that is 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I draw another one like that. Maybe the other one is within there for all the years. So that's what we call the comparative bar chart. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that I go through with this same question. We do instead of us doing the compound bar chart, let's start with the comparative bar chart. We see that if we were to do the comparative bar chart, how will this chart look like? Then we go to what we know, because we know how to draw the the compound bar chart. Now I want us to know how can we draw the comparative bar chart, because that's what we have not learned, but we are using the same question. So I created a scenario where they have given us so many units, because we know with a graph paper, the horizontal axis always has very many centimeters than the horizontal axis. So we need to look at that information, and we say we are going to draw a comparative bar chart. So they have the figures they gave us. We can maybe bring back the information they gave us. The policy type. Of course, we have life. We have motor. We have household. Then finally, we have others. We have the different years. Now I'm just going to let me just draw a cumulative. Instead of me drawing two tables, I will waste more time. Let's just use this. We do the solution. We get what we call the cumulative values. We put up here cumulative values. Cumulative values. Then I will explain when we are done. We compute the cumulative values for all the years. We are using the table that we gave in the question. So we are looking for the cumulative values. Of course, the years we have, they gave us 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, up to 2013. So I want you to know how we are getting the cumulative values. How do we add these figures? Depending on how you want to present the information. Because for this, it gives you different ways of how you can present the information as you want. For me, I may say that I'm going to make my my policy type to be the bottom line, to be on the horizontal axis, because they have not set for us a question. Or we can use the same question they gave to us, whereby the horizontal axis is going to have years. It's going to be named as years. So if it is going to be named as years, we always get the cumulative values for the years, not for the policy types. I'm repeating. It depends on what you are going to plot on the horizontal axis that determines which cumulative values should I get. So for the years, we are going to maintain, like for 2009, since it is going to be the horizontal, we want that to stand as the horizontal line. We shall have a 24 here. And then, so I'll get a 24. Our next value, let's check in the table. Let's first look at the table. We'll look for those values. You see here we have a 24. We have a 42. We are adding downwards. We move like this. You get 24 plus 42. Here it will be 66. Plus 10, it will be 76. Then plus 7. You get 83. You do the same. You maintain these. We are maintaining all these values. Then we add this plus this. That will be the value for motor. So we are adding downwards. That's what we are going to add. For me, I have this table somewhere, so I'm going to just be picking the information from there. But just know we are getting 24 plus 42. That is 66. So this one is going to be 66 for motor, because we have gotten 24 plus the 42. It gives you 66. Then 66 plus 10, that gives you 76. Then 76 plus 7, it gives you 83. Then we go to 2010. 2010. Now, what is going to happen is that for 2010, if we look at the life is also going to change, because we need to make comparisons. We are going to add 24 plus the 27. We get a 51. Let's first work in this perspective. I will give you the other criteria. So this one, we start with the 27. 27 plus 37. 27 plus 37, we get 64. So this one will be 64. Then we go to 64 plus 14. It will give us 78. 78 plus 5, it gives us 83. 2011 is 32. 32 plus the motor, which is a 31, it will give us 63. Then 63 plus 21, it gives us 88. 88. Then 88 plus 8, it gives us 92. No, the 63, I've added wrongly. The 63 plus the 14 for 2010, for 2011, it is 32 plus 31, it gives us a 63. 63 plus 21, it gives us 84. It's a 21. This one gives us 84. Added wrongly. So use a calculator when you're adding some of these things. Because the one for household was 21. This is 84. 84 plus 8, it gives us a 92. 92, then we go to of course to the 2010, 2012. 2012, for life we have 31. 31 plus 29, it gives us a 60. 60 plus 28, it gives us 88. Then 88 plus 7, it gives us a 95. 95. So we go to the last one, life add 33, then 33 plus 26, it gives us a 59. 59 plus 90 plus 59 plus 35, it gives us a 94. Then plus 4, it gives us a 98. So we can see the values that we have are all in what we call they are below 100. So even if we use 2 centimeters to represent on a graph, 2 centimeters to represent 20 units, the graph will be enough for us. Even if we take 1 centimeter to represent 20, the graph will be enough for us. Then let me give you another way how someone, of course this is the right way as per the other question, because the other question was the number of insurance policies against years. But now I'm going to give you another scenario. If it was against, if we are going to name years in our key, then we put the insurance policies as our bars. How could we do that? You just, let's maybe have a table, because these are really important areas for us to understand. We have the policy type, and then we have, this is life, we have motto. Of course, once you have gotten the other table as we got it, you go ahead and plot. But you are plotting, the years are going to be below. I'm going to show you, I have done some plotting. I'm going to show you the end result. Then I'll give you this second one as the exercise to plot it and see what you can get. This is household. Household. Then others. Now of course we have 2009. We have 2010. We have 2011. We have 2012. We have 2012. and then 2013. So now we want to represent this information in a sense that the insurance policies, the life, the motor vehicle, and then the policies are going to be the ones on the horizontal axis. So we take this to be 24. We are maintaining the years to be the same. So for 20, for this will be 24. This is of course 42. We pick the same information as it was given to us. This is 10 and this is 7. Now we go ahead and we add life. What will be the figure for life? Now we are adding horizontally. We add as we move this side. So we start with the life. Let's finish the life column, the life insurance type. We will add, of course, for life in 2009 we had 24, 2010 we had 27, 2011 we had 32, 2012 we had 31, then 2013 we had 33. So what are we going to do? We get the 24, that is our starting, plus the 27 in 2010. It becomes a 51. So here, right? 51. Then 51 plus 32, it gives you 83. Then 83 plus 31, it gives you 114. Then 114 plus 33, it gives you 147. Now we do the same for motor vehicle. It is 42 in year 2009, 2010 is 37, 2011 is 31, 2012 is 29, then 2013 is 26. So we add, we keep on getting the cumulative value for each of these insurance policies. So it is 42 plus 37, you get 79, then 79 plus 31, you get 110, then 110 plus 29, you get 139, 139 plus 26, you get 165. Then you move to household. Household, we had a 10, we had a 14, 21, 28, and 35 for the years 2009 to 2013 respectively. So we get the 10 plus the 14, that is a 24. 24 plus 21, that's a 45. 45 plus 28, that is a 73. 73 plus 35, we get 108, 108 or 108. So we go to others. Others, we had a 7, we had a 5, 8, 7, and a 4. So we get the 7 in 2009 plus 7 plus 5, it gives us a 12. 12 plus 8, it's 20. 20 plus 7, that is 27. 27 plus 4, that's a 31. So the implication here is that what we are going to put on our key will be the years. Either way, you are going to be right. If you take this, or you draw you draw using the other one. So the horizontal, as I said here, the horizontal, the horizontal axis is going to be having the policy types, meaning each bar is going to be representing a year. But all the years, the 5 years combined together to give a one policy. That is the implication. So you get now the scale. You get the vertical scale. Vertical scale, of course, when you look at these values, you see that the highest is 165. So if it is 165, maybe we can say 2 centimeters can represent maybe 20, because it's just 20 or 30. Or you can say 1 centimeter to represent 20, but that will be somehow short. Remember, we have the other 3/4 of the graph has to be utilized. So I want us to look at the graph using this first table, where we have drawn the, actually we can take the other one. Let's look at the graph for this last one. Let's look at the graph for this last one. So that for you, you will take the other first one to be your exercise. So we've said, let me highlight what we have said. Here, the horizontal axis, the horizontal scale, let me repeat it, horizontal scale is going to be 4 centimeters, because they are 4 centimeters to represent one policy, one insurance policy. It's not here, insurance policy. It's not here. See, if you say 4 centimeters to represent one insurance policy, the implication is that you will need five columns, columns or bars, because you need the other one which has a space. Then for vertical axis, or the vertical scale, because here we are focusing on the scale first. The vertical scale, we are going to use 2 centimeters to represent 20 units. 2 centimeters to represent 20 units. It means one small square will be equivalent to 2 units, because the 2 centimeters have 10 small squares. For the vertical scale, we said we are going to use 2 centimeters to represent 20 units. These were in what? Because they were in thousands, so 20 units, but for us we know the figures are in thousands. So it means 10 squares is equivalent to 20 units. So 1 square, if you divide the 1 small square, will be equivalent to 2 units. Meaning each small square is representing 2 units. You need this interpretation, because we are going to be scaling, or we are going to be drawing this information. So let me show you what I drew. And of course, you can be able to conclude. Can I insert it here? Let me just click on it. So that is what we have. We made the years to be the key. So we say the title is a comparative bar chart of course, this one they gave us the insurance classes against the policies. Remember, this is a hypothetical question. I took the other part. So you are saying that on the horizontal, I have the number of insurance policy. Then on the vertical, I have the numbers of insurance policies. Then on the vertical, I have the insurance types. Now I kept the key to be the number of years. What you see that is not shaded, or that is not shaded with any value, represents 2013, as you can see. So for this one, you don't need to, the bars will be like as if you are creating values. You create one big bar to represent all. So you are creating one big bar to represent all the life policies, the life policy. Then one bar to represent the motor insurance, then house insurance, household insurance, then other insurance policies. So you will see that each bar is going to be divided into the different years it contains of the information. So you can see for the life, you can see that the first one had the information as we started plotting with a 24. You are seeing this one is above 2, and we have counted two small squares on this first one. For life, we counted 2, 1, 2. They are two small squares, and this small square represents the 24. Then we cut that off, and we shaded it differently. Then we went to plot the other year. Now this is year 20. This is year 2009, depending on our scale, on our key. Using S, it is 2009. Then we go ahead to plot, because we are moving horizontally when we are printing. Sorry, when you are plotting. So what you do, it is just a matter of going in on the life. You pick what is the highest value is. On life, it is 147. So you plot that first bar and you go up to 147. You can see it moves up to 100. This is 140, because each of these is representing 2 units. Then we moved up to 147 here. That is the last. So you draw that big one. So once you are done with drawing that big one, then you start breaking these other values. But the whole of that slight bar tops up to the head. Now, the other thing that you need to know is that for this one, we don't skip the first. You can either skip it, but it's better not to skip this the first year. We don't skip it. We use it as a baseline. That's why for it touches the vertical scale, because we use it as a baseline. Then we skip these other ones. The reason why we are skipping, we want to connect. Now, the other thing that you need to note from this graph, it's a 2-in-1. These dots you are seeing connecting each of these years, those are the ones that they call the comparative line graph. If you are drawing a line graph and not a bar, we shall see if we go to the line graph. Of course, for the line graph, these dots that you are seeing that are connecting for each of these here, you shade it differently in their connection. You shade differently, then you call it a line graph. So you plot all these as I've told you. So for then you start naming. For the first one, life, we started by plotting 24. Then we plotted from 24, we moved up to 51, we crossed. Then we moved up to 83, we crossed here. We moved up to 114, we crossed. Then finally 147. This is the easiest, because once you draw the highest bar, or you just draw, you pick the highest value and then you draw the last cumulative total for 2013. That's the one you first draw, and you move downwards until it touches the horizontal axis. Then you skip the same space, then you draw the other one. These other ones you just come and cut. You just cut them across and you shade. You cut, you shade, you cut, you shade. Then it's a must for you to join with these dotted lines, because those dotted lines helps you to know that these years, and actually that's why you're seeing even the shading looks the same for each of these years. So if you are to construct the other first one, where the years are going to be here, it means what you are going to put in the key will be the life, will be the insurance types. So use that same information and you draw the one for life. You can attach it maybe in the comment section. I'll be able to verify and I say that this is actually right or wrong. So that's the information that we had from there. And of course, based on what we have looked at, I think the only thing that we can add there maybe are the advantages. But as we've said, you can also plot the other last one, the compound bar. Maybe I can give a schedule of how it will look like. But the good thing, we have internalized both the comparative, and then I want us to look at what we call the compound, because this is the one that we have been studying, the compound bar chart. So how are we going to draw it? Based on the question, we said that the years are going to be on the horizontal, then the columns, those bars, we are going to be having the different insurance policies as our key. Then we provide the vertical column with our values. So you plot them minus adding, you plot them the way as they were given to you. So we can use 2 centimeters maybe to represent 10, because the other information that was given to us, the highest value is around 42. So even if we use 2 centimeters to represent 5 on the vertical scale, we can set 2 centimeters to represent 10 units, meaning 10 units, 10 small squares will be equaling to 10 units, meaning each one small square will be equaling to 1 unit. Then for the horizontal scale, we said that we are going to use 4 centimeters to represent one year. So we go ahead to draw the graph. So we've said the horizontal scale, we are going to use 4 centimeters to represent 1 year. So we draw our graph. So we said it is going to be, we need like 7. We can maybe put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those can be enough. So this is going to be 10. This is 20. This is 30, 40, 50, 60. Then we move. We need now here we are going to skip. Of course we skip. Maybe we skip like 2. Then we go that we need now 4. Maybe that could be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we skip 1, 2, 3, 4. We skip 1, say 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we skip 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be maybe enough. We need how many years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. They are not enough. The years are not enough. That's what I told you. Of course, you'll end up squeezing. Let me plot for you. You will be plotting. If the years don't finish all, you will be plotting the remaining years. So the first one, we had 24. Of course, we are interpreting the scale. We are leaving 24. Let's assume that the 24 is around there. Now this one you can shade it there, and then maybe we shade it with that. Then the next one is 42. 42 is around here. Maybe that one I'm not going to shade it. That is 42. Then the second last is 10. 10 is around here. Then the last one we have a 7. 7, let's assume it is around there. So we can shade this maybe with V. Maybe this one with X. So I can create a key there, and then I say the one I've shaded like that, this is life. The one I've not shaded represents motor. The one that I've shaded maybe with a V represents household. And then the one I've shaded with X, let it represent others. Then you plot. You skip 1, then of course the whole of this is representing 1 year. Then you go to the second year of 2010. 2010 we had a 27, so 27 may be around here. We skip others. They don't skip here. You may find some books have not skipped, but let's maintain. You've been skipping. Let's maintain. It has no much interpretation in terms of not shading the first one. Then we go to the next one is 37. 37 is, let's assume it's around there. I'm shading in the same way. Then the other one is 14. Of course 14 is, let's assume it's around there. These are V. Then the last one is 5. So 5 can be around there with X. Then you plot the third year, which is 2011, with the starting point being 32. Let's say 32 is around there. Then the other one is 31. Let's assume it's around there. Then the other one is 21. 21, let's assume it's around there. Of course, this one is we shade. Then this one we shade as well. Then the last one is 8. 8 is around there. Shade with an X, just to differentiate. Then you plot the last one. It is 33. Then you plot the 2012 and then the 2013. So you'll be done. Some of the advantages, of course, it gives a visual display of the information. Second, it can accommodate very many components and subcomponents in one bar. So the one bar they are talking about it is this. For each of these years, it can accommodate very many items, as you can see. That's why those bars are actually solidified. They are in one. All the sub bars are within. So those are the things that I wanted us to look at. The disadvantages, of course, you have seen it takes a lot of time analyzing the data and then choosing the scale. The scale also involves some mathematical computations which might be hard for the viewers or the users to understand, because they need to analyze. They know how many small squares are in. So it involves some tedious computations, especially to someone who doesn't have, because you are not developing this information and you are going to use it yourself. You create this information and you give it to the users. The users also need to understand that information. So that's why we are saying it has some tedious computations in regards to the scale and other stuff. Even the scale itself can be misinterpreted, hence being able to generate wrong conclusions about the information that has been presented in the graph. So those could be some of the disadvantages that you could talk about. So I want us to meet in the next video when we are talking about the pie chart. I know also the pie chart, it's something that we had some discussions in different levels of studies, but it's the same thing that we want to look at, because those easy stuff, they are the very things that you end up failing. So we just want to assume that someone doesn't have any prior knowledge about a certain topic. That's why we are giving all the information out, because we can't just assume that it is only those who are doing CPA that are studying these things. Of course, there are some people who might not be in the same, who might have done maybe healthy, they have done maybe they have been in the health service and now they have come to do accounting. So some of these things they need to get an understanding, and that's why they always put them in the syllabus. However easy they may look like, we have to go through them and we internalize them. The other last thing that I want to talk about is the fact that we have access. We give access to our recorded lectures. We have recorded lectures for classes and then revisions. The access is a 1-year access. You get a full year access, full year access. meaning it is going to be 12 months from the time of payment. The amount you pay, you only pay 200,000 Ugandan shillings. That's the money you pay to get access for the entire 12 months. It's like someone will be paying on a monthly basis something like 20 or 18 on average. So it is a 200,000. It's a single payment you pay for a full year access. Once the year elapses, you lose access, then you pay the same 200,000, you still get access for a full another year. So it has all levels. We have all CPA levels, whereby you are going to get the recordings for different classes, for different, because there could be videos that we have done with the old syllabus. You'll find videos that we have done on the new syllabus. You find videos that we have done on different aspects but related to what we are doing, because just like the way you are seeing here, we give you information not necessarily for the CPA paper, but we give you information that is looking at all the aspects as long as they are related to what we are studying. That's why we will see, we are going to learn what we call stem and leaf, box plots, and other aspects, even though they are not shown on the syllabus, but they are related. So we have all CPA levels. The payment is a 200,000, and that money can be paid either using a Momo Pay, MTN Momo Pay. It's just a matter of dialing *165 *3 hash. Then we put in our merchant code. The question is, how am I going to be able to get the merchant code? Just send a WhatsApp. Be strict on what you want. It's a +256 792 915 722. Don't send money on that number because the number is registered in the company names and it's not on mobile money. The money is sent either on our merchant code, that is through Momo, or it will be paid on our bank account. So getting that information, just send your WhatsApp on this same number 0792 915 722. That's where you get the update, and of course once you have made the payment, we will be telling you on what to do in order to access the classes. So that's all that I wanted to talk about as far as this is concerned. Let's meet in the next video as we're talking about the pie chart. Once we are done with the pie chart, we shall look at Lorenz curve. We shall first look at the Z chart, then we'll look at the Lorenz curve. When we are done with the Lorenz curve, we shall also put in the histogram, and then we'll finalize the graphs by looking at the box plot, box and wicks plot, then stem and leaf. Those are the ones that will conclude our discussion on graphs. Of course, we said pictograph charts or graphs, and then curves. So when we go to curves, of course, we have line, the line, that is, it can be a simple line graph. They could be compound line graph. They could be ogive. Of course, ogive is one of the most asked. So we shall also be able to look at most of those things as we proceed. So thank you for supporting us. Don't forget to like and comment on our videos, make your suggestions, get yourself busy with the comment section by asking questions that you have not understood in any of the topics that we have analyzed, because that way you are helping us you are helping us in a sense that YouTube will push our content to very many people. As long as you like, comment, and subscribe, then those comments give us a positive information about maybe the errors, because we expect we are not perfect. We could make some arithmetical computations, arithmetical errors, whereby maybe I've added wrongly and I moved on by not seeing it. So those are some of the things, what you have learned, what you need more clarity on, so that we can be able to provide another video trying to explain more on the aspect that you may be asking about. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.